You're back with us here on TSPN TV News. Today we have with us Richard Forster, Supervisor. He's going to tell us about tomorrow's Board of Supervisors meeting. How are
Alex, you? Good. How are you today?
Good. You have a good Super Bowl weekend?
Oh, yeah. Just kind of a little weekend at home, at least Sunday at home, trying to get some work done outside. But
right.
Saturday was pretty much committed to an event down in town. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you got some rest on Sunday.
Not really, but.
So what do we have on the agenda?
Well, we have a couple presentations regarding the broadband systems that people want to put in. The first is going to be from the Central Sierra Connect, which is a collaboration of people, ATCA and some others, partners that have come together to try and get the internet put into Amador, Calaveras, Tuolumne, Mariposa, and part of Alpine County.
And I believe they've got some federal funding to do that, right?
They have identified some sources to capture the money. This is the end, though, the end part of the broadband that they're putting in, which will enhance portions of the system at the end of the broadband network that they're trying to tie into.
Okay.
And trying to help every portion of these counties so they can have access for things like educational purposes, healthcare purposes, and on those lines.
So this is an ongoing process. This hasn't actually begun as far as putting the broadband in the rural places?
No, it isn't. They're still trying to figure out how they're going to do it and get through the process, the funding process that's in place. This started some time ago, before any of the stimulus money became available. So they're not using stimulus dollars for this project. It's coming from another revenue source.
Oh, okay.
Now, nothing to do with this project, but coming up, this is a presentation that we had at that I sat through at Central Sierra Planning Agency last week. We had our meeting in Sonora. Larry Busby is the executive director of that agency. But this came out of Howard Stolman, who's the Chief Information Officer of Calaveras, said that two counties, Calaveras and Alpine, are working for the middle part of the game playing for broadband.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not an expert on these things, so there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Well, we have the end that the Connect partners are trying to work on. We have the middle portion of the broadband that's critical, that you need. This is a regional approach to bringing the broadband in, and to do that, you have to locate the sites to bring the broadband in, and they're trying to locate existing sites and use existing sites. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very expensive to make this happen.
Complicated.
Yeah, they're talking about, from what he said last week, $20 to $30 million to make this happen. I believe that's the case. Now, he may come up with a different figure tomorrow, but what I recall him saying last week was $20 to $30 million. Right. Howard's the expert on this stuff. He'll be able to give us the scoop on it tomorrow. But this is critical so you can enhance your services even further. And you want those services directly in place so you're tied to the information network and you can bring it up from source to source point, rather than the in-game users would have to rely on not having that regional interconnectivity. So this is very important. We had to make a decision I had to make a decision for Amador County last week, and I met with our CAO and chairman and had to run it by them afterwards, because we had until Friday to decide last week if we wanted to be part of this. They've asked Amador County and Tuolumne County to also be partners with Alpine and Calaveras. We had a drop-dead date of Friday to make that decision. I wish this could have come to us sooner. It didn't, so we had to kind of work on making a decision in the dark a little bit on this one, but it makes sense because we're working on the end users, and without that middle connectivity, it doesn't make much sense.
So you're putting a little bit of trust into at ATCAA and the other agencies as far as what they say will get done, because you're kind of in the dark a little bit on the whole process?
Well, no, I'm not worried about the Connect users and what the ATCA partners.
Okay.
We've had presentations on that previously. This one with the middle game is where we kind of had to act in the dark a little bit, but it doesn't make sense for Amador County to be left out of this and in the dark in the end, and for our residents not have the ability for that regional connectivity to broadband.
Okay.
So that's kind of the way I looked at it, and the chairman and our CAO agreed that we would move forward with this, and I think it's the best thing for the county.
Sure.
And it's a lot better if it can run through the whole board, but in this case, sometimes you have to do things that you're not running on intuition, you're running on common sense and what's best for the county and what's best for our residents.
What's best in the long run?
That's right. Amador County Transportation Commission will present, I assume this will be Neil Peacock from ACTC, will present the stakeholder roundtable for the regional transportation plan. This has to be done, updated every 5 years. In that process, as in all the state processes, they want a stakeholder group. The stakeholder group was much larger when we started this. I had issues with it. Councilman Dave Plank from my own had problems with it, and we've reduced the size of it and incorporated into it the county and the city's staffers on planning, which makes more sense to me. You want people that at least can give you the information and object when things aren't being presented correctly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We have a Williamson Act case, which is essentially a boundary act adjustment that we have to agree on. We have a River Pines Public Utility District. I think we already sat through that agenda item last week.
Yeah.
It lasted about a half an hour under public comment. Where
And
the
now
board,
it's back, yeah.
Right, and we have, I think, about at least 10 people that have applied to fill those positions on their board. And we have a presentation on wireless service facilities. This would be a modification or a resolution of intention to change the ordinance that's in place right now so that wireless facilities to allow cell phone towers and things could go into ag on and public service on larger parcels.
Okay. All that and more tomorrow.
That's right.
All
Okay,
right.
Alex.